But I didn't check in my that's what I thought. Sorry. So I've been, if you're sending me DMs on Facebook specifically, I'm not seeing them. I saw, well, listen, hi Lily. Here's the truth of it. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you. Truth doesn't change, right? The truth doesn't change. And it sucks when people don't adhere to the warning because of the messenger of the warning, right? Hey, sorry, it sucks. It's always going to end the same. It's always going to end the same until Victoria confronts the fact that she is the problem. Okay? It will continue. When you know better, do better. Right? We'll see how it all shakes out. Hi, Ethel. Lori, I don't know. You're looking mighty silly. Yeah. You're looking mighty silly turning your water on and such. Like, in my live yesterday, we confirmed that the water was on. I find it interesting the lengths that you will go to prove things, though. Hi, Ryan. That are the most minuscule things ever, Could never be me. It could never be me. So that's weird. Nobody gives a shit, really, if you have water, right? Like, let's be clear, I really don't think you use much of it anyway. Savannah, you do that homework I gave you. Because that one's still fucking spiraling on her page. But yeah, it's weird to me. I just listen, sometimes I give a warning, sometimes I don't, right? I know that's right. But protest on the right things, right? I don't know. It's fucking weird. But what I will say is, Lori is an absolute and total piece of shit. That's, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's not something, but yeah. I just, sometimes I give a warning, sometimes I don't, right? In this situation, that situation, I found it important because she's dangerous, if you will. The lies that she spreads about people, it's dangerous. Hi, OJ. And that's just, you don't seem like the type of person that should be wrapped up in that, if you will. And I know that Mel's group also got warnings. So, yeah, exactly. So if I think that somebody, if I think that somebody is worthy of the warning, right, OG, I did want to clear something up because when people were hitting me up and talking about things that were being said, hi Jersey friend, how are you, on that live, and I just I just want to clear things up where I can. And I know that there were a couple of people that were taking it taking it as it was being said. And I don't think that that's what the person who said it meant. One of them said something along the lines of, you just replaced one thing for another. I do believe she was talking about the internet. I do think that, I know, Tracy, I do think that it wasn't meant in the context that people are taking it, right? If I'm wrong, I will say so, but that's just how I saw it, because there was other conversation surrounding that, being like, you're not changing what I've been telling her the whole time, right? I also know that there was a pain pill comment, and I don't know for sure, obviously, but I think that they meant it like you can get these surgeries without them, right? I don't think that they were alluding to it being something that was already going on, but I'm not sure. Thanks, Jersey Fran.
I was in there watching it. That's why I DM'd you at like midnight.
I didn't see it.
So the V word got booted off Mel Island. The lady Crazy 8, but she changed her name to
Nancy. She's been on somebody else's account.
I'll tell you what, she rode hard for Victoria. Rode hard for weeks. And she did some reverse psychology, found out Victoria did some things, and she flipped a whole 360. Yes, what you were saying, exchange something for another, had nothing to it.
Right,
exactly
you get what I mean, right?
Yes, and it's exactly what you're thinking.
Right.
There's nothing more to it.
Right. I didn't want, I know that because there were a couple of people that asked me about it, and I prefer to straighten things out when I can. So that's the vibe that I got as well.
Yep. And then Victoria, I hate to say her name. Victoria needs to sit all the fucking way down. Victoria, sit the fuck down and watch your kids. How's that? Spend time with them. Shit, do something.
And I think that that's what they were trying to say. And listen, y'all, I know that people, I could not like or care for somebody, but still straighten out what I believe to be a twisted version of the facts, right? And I do believe that that's what they were trying to say. Like,
you're like, right. You're correct. You're correct.
Right. Exactly what I've been saying, where the behavior isn't changing, right?
No, the way she talked to Nancy was wild. And let me get something straight. Crazy 8, Nancy.
I didn't see it all, so
she comes off. She's unfiltered, whatever. But she rode hard for Victoria for a long time. I mean, rode hard. Last night was a switch I never thought I'd see. I'm glad it happened, but there was something more important that happened. Victoria somehow accused somebody of being a swinger. That was that Tracy Lely. Or Lely. Something Lely. She was in the box.
Right. Is that what started it?
No. Actually,
because I didn't see it all. I only saw a couple of the clips, primarily involving Victoria, and I did see Victoria's videos.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Tracy Lely. She was appalled. She was taken back,
right?
Because these people stuck their neck out for her, and then on the backside, typical Victoria fashion, talking shit.
And that's what she does. Is she tries to I'm sorry, I'm super distracted. She tries to, like, she'll start all this trouble because she thinks that she's got these people behind her giving her the backbone.
Correct.
And then she kind of just leaves them to clean up the mess, and it's kind of fucked up. But if you the pattern is there.
It was wild. I gotta be honest. I sat back and kind of laughed. I was like, man, and I was trying to see if you were awake. Mm-mm. Like, I check your Instagram. You're going to see me. I'm like, are y'all watching this?
And she's private anyway, isn't she?
Huh?
She's private, Mel.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she went private. I was out cold. The days are like super long,
So here's the thing that I wish Mel, I go on Mel's lives. I don't have anything against Mel. I don't have anything against anybody, really. But I just wish Mel would watch your episodes. see both sides of the story and then make her own conclusion after she sees both sides.
And here's the thing. I know that there were people trying to go to her and say, hey, you might want to go and watch this. But I think that at that time, Victoria had already been manipulating her on the back end, saying that her version of events, you know what I mean? So she may not have been open. She might be open to it now, but she wasn't open to it before.
No, and me and you on the back. So, sorry. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. Me and you dealt with somebody I'm very close to regarding the same situation, and it was simple as them seeing the evidence. It's evidence. It's not shit just spewing out of your mouth. And you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. I don't want to say who I'm talking about, but it took them just to settle down, open their mind, and look at both sides.
Well, I think because people think that I'm like this big bad wolf, right? But that's not. And I've never really been that way. Right. Exact that too, Naps. But I've always kind of been more like with Lawyer Boss and the Lisa situation, right? People all of a sudden, I'm besties with Lisa. I had one phone conversation with Lisa in August, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? But people can't, it's like two things can't be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And the series does have all the proof that I needed. And I could have added a shit ton more.
Can you say that again? It consists of all the what? Did you say proof?
Yeah. And
I wish people would realize you come with facts.
Yeah.
Proof.
And I think that people, they want to believe her. Listen, I understand that because I've seen this a couple of times at this point where people do believe the version of events that she's giving them. Like it's I've seen it with more than 10 people at this point, and they all wind up opening their eyes, all of them.
There's not too many islands left over for her to jump on, so I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to drop out of your box.
You're good. I appreciate you. Victoria, apparently she was booted off Mel's Island last night. I'm sorry.
It was wild, and all I kept thinking to myself was, y'all go watch those series. Just watch. But there's not too many more islands for her.
It's sad. Right. And I know that there are people in the chat that Nookie does have the live. I know that there are people in the chat that were or felt like they were Mel's friend and that Mel made a choice for Victoria. I don't know the ins and outs of all of that stuff. I just know Victoria's patterns. So I knew that this is how it was going to go. Victoria does not and cannot and will not take not being the center of every situation.
Correct.
Hi, Tracy. You're up here?
Yeah.
Hi.
I just can't believe that I got so much hate from several people for Vicky to turn around and do that.
It was always going to happen, though.
Oh, yeah. I believe I'm owed an apology. I point blank said, y'all have got to watch these videos. I just know that y'all are going to believe everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to stick with Vicky.
And it sucks, right? I'm sure that the people that thought that they were friends with Mel, I'm sure that it's hurtful, right? I hope that things work out a bit.
She jumped out. She was in the box, and she is the one that jumped off. She was crying.
Yeah, that's what she does, though, right?
Yeah.
And
she's been getting everybody in DMs for one. I think she DM'd everybody.
100%. She is gaslighting the shit out of people in DMs. 100%.
She's been coming into my lives. Right. Why are you coming into my lives? But
it sucks. I know, Beauty. I know. and it sucks, right? And what sucks even like the most is that Victoria still is unwilling to see that it's her own doing.
She's the problem, and it's not going to change. She needs to get away from social media for about 2 or 3 years and then come back.
The work has to be done, right?
She's not going to do it.
Listen, I'm sure that it's painful to have to look at yourself and the things that her specifically has done, right? I'm sure that that's painful. Thanks, guys. Hey, Ash, how you feeling? However, well, Big Booty, I think that you should have a conversation, right? And I don't know if it needs to be a public conversation. Good, I'm glad. I don't know if it needs to be a public or a private conversation, but if you feel like that was your real friend, then why not? I'm really
She never did anything wrong to me. It's
right.
just I just couldn't sit up in a box with Victoria there.
And that's hopefully, I can't tell y'all what to do in that situation, right? If you all feel like you want to have a conversation with her and try to get past it, then that's on y'all. But it sucks. It's just the way that it's gonna go until Victoria takes a look at her behavior honestly, and just so I don't know at this point that she does it on purpose, right? I think that it truly is pathological for her.
Yeah.
I think she may realize, and I will say this, only because I saw it. Hi, Darkness. I hope you're doing all right. Only because I saw it, right, where she blamed my friend Shannon for sending a really vile email that Shannon did not send. And then a bunch of people came into the Lisa server and started attacking Shannon. And for what, right? And those people don't fuck with Victoria either. It has been a steady pattern with the people that try to give Victoria a chance, because then she winds up hanging herself because her actions show it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I believe I'm owed an apology because I was just trying to tell the truth about what the girl was doing, and
Yeah.
she's just a pathological liar, among other things.
And I don't know, right? Because I don't know Mel, right? So I don't know. Have a good day, Ash. I don't know like the ins and the outs of her. I just know that what I know is that I know that she was told about Victoria and showed where she could see the proof. I also know that at that point in time, Victoria probably had a really good hold of her.
She did.
With the manipulation and the gaslighting, right?
Mel even told me. She said, I've sat on the phone talking to her kids. I know her kids are with her.
Well, but that's not, and it sucks because unfortunately, hi Jen, I'm probably gonna have to stall 7, just because I don't know if I don't even, hi Janelle, I don't even have like the attention span. It's just been difficult. But I think that you can't shoot the messenger, right? And no matter how many times I've said, hey, I'm not speaking, like I'm speaking for the people, that there's people behind me as far as Victoria goes. Did my focus shift to Victoria because of Victoria's actions? Yes. But that doesn't mean that along the way, right, there were people giving me everything that I needed in order to make that series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, hi, Psycho Bunny, I think that people, the proof is in the series. So, and I will say it again, the kids being there, it's 1:00 in the morning and you hear them. What are you doing? Right? Like nothing is changing here. And if 3 years didn't make you want to change and be a more present mother, that doesn't look
Yeah.
good. And even if she has them back, that doesn't invalidate the years of abuse that went on before that. Not to me, anyway.
And, well, we're going to have tea tonight.
And listen, if y'all, I'm never gonna tell people. I really draw the line with like teeth radios. You know, I'm never gonna tell people who to talk to and who not to talk to.
And I know for Mel, I know she's kind of out of the scene for a couple of days. This is when her baby died, the week her
Um,
baby died, and so she's not handling it really well.
well, and that's understandable, and she shouldn't have to deal with drama and Victoria's bullshit. Which, let's be clear, that's exactly what it is while dealing with something like that.
Yeah,
Exactly, Savannah. So that it's unfortunate and it sucks because I did hear in the screen recording, I don't know who said it, but somebody said tonight was supposed to be about Mel. Nothing is
yeah,
ever going to be about anybody else when you have Victoria around. She will drain your energy to make everything about her.
yeah. Well, that's all I wanted to say
You're
is
good, Tracy.
we'll see what happens in the future.
And that's all you could really do. It's it sucks, right? Don't get me wrong, it sucks, especially if y'all were over there for a while, right? And you
Yeah,
feel like for what? When they never listen, Missy, and then they always winds up coming back. Always.
yeah,
Good evening. Well, and if you feel like that relationship is, it's a guest sweater. If you feel like that relationship is worth salvaging, then that's on y'all, you know?
yeah.
Yes,
Either
she's.
way, people are going to have comments to make.
Oh, listen, there's no stopping that, y'all. You and I know that it probably sounds like it's easy for me to say, but it's because I deal with it so much. I really don't give a shit what people say, right? I know who
Yeah,
I am, like as a person. So what is somebody that doesn't even know me? What does their opinion matter to me? It doesn't. Nookie has it, y'all. Nookie has it up. It is a 5-hour live. So, you know.
well,
Yes.
you have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
What time did you say you were going live?
7:30
Are you on Eastern time?
Central.
Okay. Okay. So Tracy said she would be live if you want to watch that. Right, and I felt bad kind of because I was talking to somebody about something else this morning and I was like, I'm used to it, right? Like people try to throw shit my way all the time. So like, but not everybody is. And I have to remind myself of that a lot. Because just because I can like shrug it off and keep it moving, that doesn't mean that other people can do that as well. Some people, it really bothers them. Yeah, I heard. I heard. I didn't see it all, y'all. I got some tags this morning. Why she was kicked. I really don't know. I really don't know. I know that what I heard was it was supposed to be about Mel and it wound up about Victoria again. Hi, Outlaws. I don't know the specifics of the details, but it's the same behavior. The patterns are going to remain the same until Victoria puts her big girl pants on and does the work. And it sucks because I'm sure it's a pretty lonely place to be, but that's nobody else's fault but her own. Because if she doesn't get it at this point, y'all, is she ever gonna get it? It's almost right. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Yeah, beauty junkie. But that's what she always does. It's what she always does. Right, Callie girl. That's what's unfortunate. Is that like I can't imagine, y'all. Like if I didn't have my kids for 3 years and they came back, I wouldn't be. Nope, I wouldn't miss a second. I would be trying to make up for that, that lost time, and probably smothering them a little too much, but not going right back to being perpetually online is wild to me. Wild to me. And I'll never understand, like, routine is important for young kids, dude. Bath, bed, dinner, homework. That stuff is important. And I think that when there's no structure there, that's not good. I agree, Joy. I agree. It's unfortunate, but it is. And I just can't imagine. I can't imagine. Hi, Lisa. Structure is key. I know, Precious. And it looked like something I wouldn't even feed to the dogs, if I'm being completely honest. Anyway, Gabby. Gabby has been live for I don't even know how long today. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. And it's hard. I know. I heard. I've seen a lot of my name being dropped in her chat, and I'm sure she does not like it. I'm sure that it'll be in her comment filters probably today, actually. And she's another one. I'll never understand it. I don't get it. I'll never grasp it. Well, Beauty Junkie, so she is facing some consequences. Hi, Llama Mama. She may not know about those consequences yet, but that's because they're building a case. And that sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, I know that's right. I know. Did you see the live from, like, this morning? I don't understand these people that can't even go to work and not be on a live stream. Does that make sense to anybody? No, it's going to take time, especially with a case like that. It's going to take some time because especially like people don't understand like the internet. Things are so difficult. Like, you know what I mean? But an attorney general is not going to be watching you and you walk away scot-free. That's just not going to happen. Right. Isn't it crazy? Well, I think hold on. I think that she did drop the waffles case. Oh, no, CJ, I wasn't. Right. It's weird to me, though, Psycho Bunny. Wouldn't you just get off the internet and go to work? That's what I thought. I thought I saw that. And that was probably the smartest thing that she did. Because if you can't pay the judgment that you already have, what are you going to do with another one? You know what I mean? Right. It's so strange to me. It's so strange to me how these people go to what, like you're shopping and you're live. Nobody wants to see you that bad. Nobody wants to see you that bad. You could take care of your responsibilities in your real life and stay off of a live stream. I don't know why that's foreign behavior to some. It's just strange to me. I missed that. I'm sorry. It's so weird. Hi, Christy. And like, it's not even like their lives or like they're people that are wanted online. Do you follow me? Thank you. Me either. Y'all, if I'm live for like an hour and a half, I'm like done. I saw a clip of Gabby taking a phone call and sitting on mute. Why? I will never understand. Stop, Lily. I will never understand it. No, same. And why do you shut the chat off? What is the point? It's so fucking weird to me. So weird. Yeah, me either. Why don't you just get off the phone and do it? Thanks, Crystal Craze. Why wouldn't you just get off the phone? It's so strange to me. I was watching, maybe Control. They have no control in other areas of their life, clearly. I was watching, Feisty before I fell asleep last night. Absolutely not, CJ. No, because that to me is like a huge red flag that I need a 5150. You know what I mean? Like that to me, me either, Psycho Bunny. It is so strange. I was talking, we're talking about like travel arrangements coming up for me to go to Albany. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, and he wants me to, I'm not sitting on a fucking train vlogging. That's weird to me. Right? It's so strange. I'll never understand it. And it's like always the ones with bad reputations. Did you notice that? It's just weird to me. How about she fucking cleans on a live? It's like, it's not even the ones with good reputations, like people that battle or do something like that. It's always like the scammers and the beggars that do it. Why? There's gotta be a reason. I bet. Hi, Irish. Right. And that's the thing, right? Yeah, I guess not today, Satan. I guess, but I don't know. I do understand like cooking lives. I do get that if that's the type of content that people are into. I do get even that, but I don't know. I follow Kaylee May on like Aesthetic Talk. She's like one of those cleaner people. I know that it's not normal that cleaning is like my version of therapy, free therapy anyway. I love to clean, but it's gas. I don't know, honestly. I've been super distracted. Me too. I'd rather watch Neil the Seal. I know that's right. I do a lot of that too. Right, simply, like, why do we need to watch them live in fucking Walmart? What is the point there? Nah, Billy June, but I'm not going to be very long. The trial has been, it's been keeping me busy. I know, Sunshine, it's so fucking strange to me. Right, but that's different because, hi, Kat, that's different because you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're providing a service and other people could learn from you providing that service. So I would even, that's different to me. Well, that was different, Ellie. That was completely different because she was like, high as fuck with like one eye open, I know. I like animals. I'd rather watch animals. Right. Like if you're having to like squint and one eye shit, you probably shouldn't be on a live stream. Let's be fucking for real here. It's so strange to me. I'm sorry. I wanted to check my messages while it's just weird. Hi, JJ. I've been in my, hi, Kai, how are you? I've been more in my, listen, I think that's one of my favorite, like there are things that instantly become like immortalized, right? Hi, Lolo. And Lori and the Train was just it, it was like, there's a couple of things that Ashley did that are in that category. Hi, Sandy. But to me, I just, no, I would never. Immediately not. Right, epic. Like they're classics, if you will. Right, exactly. Now we got lawyer bosses, period dot, right? Some things just stick around than others, like other things, right? Period dot, yeah. Fucking weird. Yeah, exactly. The coaster readings were fucking classic. Do y'all remember when she saw the ghost in the spray bottle at the hotel? The fall heard round the world was another one. There's always like, well, Lily Grace sent her the book, How Not to Be a Cunt. A lot of them are on my YouTube, actually. In the playlist, I have a lot of those in the playlist. there was always, she was a wild ride those days. You know what I mean? I'll try to see what I got. The fall was crazy. Sorry, I was trying to answer comments while I was, before I came live. The ghost footprints, right? It was. I heard. I'm just gonna mind my own business, you know? I'm just gonna mind my own business. Hold on, let me pull up. Oh.
I'm going to take a second to address something. I want you to be able to see my face while I do. Most of you who followed me for some time know that last summer it was exposed that I had some private messages with the N-word and some other not favorable words in them. I owned up to them. I discussed them, explained what happened, all of that at that time. We had 2 or 3 different lives addressing it, giving everybody a chance to talk to me, ask questions, everything. I maintained throughout that it was not right what I did, especially because I myself was raised being called that word and didn't like it. Now, with all that said, I will say that
that was Miss Ashy Cat. Yeah. She was called that word growing up. I heard. I know. I'm looking for, oh my goodness.
if it's a fake, no matter what, if it's a fake, I still got my break because CNN is going to be really interested to know who's spoofing their emails. And if it's not a fake, then I've got my break. So either way, I win. And if it was a fake, then why are we rushing to spam CNN with hate videos to try and prevent it from happening? For real, FCC does not like it when you spoof emails, phone numbers, etc. This is a felony.
I don't know who saw that email, but if you read the first sentence and didn't know somebody was trolling you, I don't know if that's exactly what she said, but I'll say it, you know, because terrible, right? It's terrible. I don't like the exploitation of that stuff, you know. Hi, WTF. The desk was defective. I might not have the full here, actually. But yeah, there's a bunch. Oh.
Messages and pictures begging me, please think us through, don't let them win. It took me until today to realize, my hands up, and my little finger as much as that motherfucker sucks. But anyway, that's you. The world thought a grown-ass man putting on terrible makeup and making fun of a woman was okay.
Jon
the day
Snow.
that I gave up on the world. Never give back the feeling for this world that I had before because of those videos. I've had people come and tell me how they want to be my friend and they want to talk and they give me just enough information to lure me in. And then they turn around and stab me as hard as they fucking get him back. I am the Jon Snow in this story. Now comes the reason I said don't watch this unless you've seen it all. Because I am the Jon Snow. Texts and calls and...
Yeah. Oh, did you go live, WTF, last night and I missed it? Every single day, CJ. Every day. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it. Oh, you're right. I did see that video. Are you feeling better? Y'all, I have been sick since November. I'm sorry. I built this algorithm brick by brick. Hello. It goes away and comes back and goes away and comes back. I still have like a cough and a stuffy nose. Janelle, like, you're better, right? Because Janelle was sick before me. Yeah, not in the head. Oh no, did you go to a doctor? Right, I feel like this year, not every, like, I get sick every year, ammonia, but no, it's not that. I just feel like I've been sick for months. Like, it doesn't always go away. This year is just so different as far as, like, the sicknesses. Must be the... Right, exactly. But it's not everything. It's just the cough and the stuffy nose that's, like, lingering, if you will. Me too. Same. Right, it's crazy. Hi, Weeping Angel. I have been sick for months. That's how I was before I got COVID last year. I got COVID last January. And oil of oregano. How did it go today? The defense is scouring our social media platforms, looking for any way to discredit the student body as a whole. Apparently, our closed Facebook support group is a trigger for them. Apparently, it's sick. It's crazy. That somebody could see 156 names on a list of students that are deceased and think that that group is anything other than a support group, so that we could make sure that we could help somebody if we need to. They also have been using, hi Pinky, the letters that we wrote our parents, which is why I reshared that video from the Breaking Code Silence. Yeah, and I have a problem with it, if I'm being honest. I really have a problem when people invalidate or victim shame in an in an attempt to defend a piece of shit. Right? I also think that, thank you, that the owner of the school is on the witness list. And I think, come on, I think that he's going to testify for the defense. And he can't lie, right? I mean, he's going to have to lie. Sorry, I worded that wrong. He's going to have to lie, otherwise he opens himself up to a shit ton of other litigation, right? And that's unfortunate, because they should do better. I would think that if I were on my deathbed, I would try to right my wrongs as much as I could. You know? Hi, Nana Ray Ray, how are you? So it's been fun. The one deposition that we needed, that staff member is deceased, so that can't be used. It's a lot, and I feel for the students that have taken the stand and like gave them, right, like, you know what I mean, right? And it's no, he did. He was honest in his deposition. Hi, Danielle. That staff member's name was Jan Charipko. I have his deposition, and he was honest. He said that he knew about the abuse, specifically SA, and that he brought it to other staff members who are also deceased. And it's unfortunate, he just died in June. So it sucks, and I would like to think that they're going to be honest, but I don't think they will. I don't know if it's going to matter, right? Because the one thing, she is Mommy Ramblings blog on YouTube. Thank you. I forgot what I was going to say. One of the people, yeah, I wouldn't. One of the people that is one of the staff members that is testifying is my therapist. And she, I don't know. They're there, but I don't know if she's got custody. She is one of the staff members that did give me an apology. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what she says. I do also find it really interesting that Paul's wife is not in the courtroom. It's strange to me. Because she also worked at the school, right? A lot of the staff members at the school were married couples. And she was, she worked at the school, so she knew. And she's not in the courtroom, so I find that interesting. There's a lot. If you Google, the school, maybe, I don't know. You'll get a lot of information, and I know that there were reporters there. I don't know. The only witnesses I know are the staff members, because that's what I wanted to know. It's sad and it's unfortunate, and I just know that when he was arrested, right, another student that I was there with took his life. So I'm just trying to be there for the students that are still not right. And I know how hard it is for me, right? Like, and I've done the work to get past it, if you will. So I know how difficult it is for me. I can't imagine how difficult it is for the ones that are not as healed as I am. You know what I mean? So it's been difficult. And then we knew, we were told that they were going to be combing through a couple of us do have platforms, right? That they were going to be combing through our content, trying to find anything to give them a leg up, if you will. And I think that it speaks volumes that the only thing that they're really talking about is a private Facebook group and the letters that we wrote our parents. And that's strange because our letters were monitored. And that's why I reshared that video this morning, because in that video I made almost a fucking year ago, I said, how did my parents not recognize what I was writing? Because that wasn't me. Why was that not like a red flag to see something's going on? I said that almost a year ago. So that's strange, you know? And it sucks. Thank you. It sucks for, I feel for the students that are not in a better place. And I hope that, that they are okay, you know? There's 156 names on that list. Well, a lot of them weren't teachers. A lot of them were not teachers. Hi, Lady Di. How are you? No, you're
Good. How are you going?
I'm good.
So I just wanted to tell you first of all, as a subscriber, if
Mhm.
you need to take a break because it's going to be overwhelming.
Mhm.
I went back and I watched your playlist on this and
Mhm.
I bawled. My 13-year-old daughter, when she was 13, she's now in her late 20s,
Mhm.
was institutionalized. I called her and I went through, did I miss any warning signs? Did I anything? And she told me, no, Mom. And then I sent her your playlist.
Mhm.
And she's like, Mom, I didn't go through any of that. I would have told
Wally.
you. And I said, yeah. I said, but she told her mom. I said, and they convinced her otherwise.
Mhm.
And so I had a good cry with my daughter and some touchy moments with my daughter. But granted, you are my age, but I have that motherly
Right. I get it. I don't.
instinct. And so,
I wish that there was more regulation in because there's still not at
no.
a federal level any type of sorry, any type of regulation as far as these types of programs. There's no oversight, so they just pretty much get to operate and do whatever the hell they want. Still,
Yeah.
nothing has changed.
Listening to your playlist, I went back and I looked at everything, and yes, they had it where there was blackout list, but then my daughter was never placed on a blackout list where she couldn't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
She is adopted, so she couldn't talk to her bio mom. She couldn't talk to her siblings, but she could talk to me.
But yeah, that's different.
Yeah, and so, and I know a lot of it was due to her attitude and stuff, but she went through a lot of physical, mental, emotional trauma from her bio mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what stemmed from her being institutionalized. But as a mom, I just wanted to grab you and give you a great big old hug.
Thank
And
you.
I know your mom was there for you, but she also thought she was doing right.
They do. They really. The parents really do think that they're doing the right thing, right? And the staff, the school, and such, right? They rely on that, right? They
Yeah,
rely on the need of a parent going to drastic, like any lengths in order to make sure that their child is safe, right? So
yes,
the staff, the school exploited that. They already had it. They had the parents think that, like, they already had it. They had it all covered from A to Z. Where if we even tried to go to our parents, the school already had them believe that we were just going to manipulate them to take us out.
well, and we didn't have that luxury when we were kids. I mean, granted, in my opinion, it's a good thing because I did some pretty awful things that Facebook and Google and all
Right.
that wasn't there when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. It, it,
But
it's
it
it's
also had its downfalls for your situation and example.
it's
So,
unfortunate, and it is. It really does. Just last year, there were 7 kids removed out of a program in Jamaica. That was very similar to like the structure of the school that I was in, and it's really it's almost like not even comprehensible that this is something that is still very much a thing in this country. And what they
yep,
don't understand is that, like, when the place is shut down, a lot of them just reopen under a new LLC. They don't just shut down. My program shut it down, but then they bought half the town.
right.
So even still, in one of the articles that I shared today, as a video, I showed screen recordings of a series that was done by a Delaware County reporter, right? And
Yeah,
that McDonald's is 7 miles from where the school was, right? So when I left, when I walked, I physically walked away from that place. And I had to walk to the main road, which was Route 97, and I hitchhiked to the McDonald's because there was a payphone at that McDonald's.
Oh,
You're
wow.
right, there should be. But and that's one of the things that breaks my heart the most, honestly. Sorry, puzzle piece. Is the man that I made the thumbnail of the live that I posted yesterday and I had to repost. He testified in Congress.
Yeah.
He was super involved with, at the time, what was called CAFID and the Family School Truth Campaign, because what they did was they mirrored the website. And as soon as that website started getting traction, right, and it started getting bumped up in a Google search, parents were reading, prospective parents were reading our stories. And he was super involved with that. He spoke in front of Congress for change. That was in 2008.
Yeah. I could see that because that was, looking back at my daughter, it was 2008, 2010 time frame. And there were, thank goodness for Google, because I went through with their caseworker and I shot places down that, no, this place don't look like it's any good.
No,
And
I'm just being honest. Any therapeutic boarding school is the type of program that I am talking about, right?
yeah,
I have never heard of a good program.
no. And
I've
those
never
all,
heard,
I shot all of those down. She ended up going to a mental health facility.
and that's better off. I've never
Yeah.
heard there's been the documentary Netflix put out a bit back. It was very similar to what we went through. The programs are very similar. Paris Hilton also attended another school that's closed, but those programs, I've never heard of one that actually did help any type of situation that it was meant to help.
Yeah. But I just I had to come up and tell you, you made me cry. My mommy heart went out to you this morning, and I called my daughter and loved on her.
Well, I'm
Um,
glad that that's not what she experienced.
yes. And I, as a supporter of yours, I would say put Victoria aside and deal with this because it's going to be a lot of trauma on you and bringing a lot back up. I know everybody that's in your comments would support you 100%.
It's something that I've been thinking about more today, but mainly because when I was trying to film, I just couldn't. Like, I'm not concentrating the way I normally would.
Well, and you've got too much trauma, and
Right.
you've gone through enough of trauma in the last year. You lost mom.
Yeah.
This case is coming up now. It started.
I
That's
think
going
if
to
it was
bring all that
anything
back.
else, I would be all right. But I think that the topic of 7 it's just
Too
proving
close.
to be more difficult, and that's just, I don't know. But I tried today to film a little bit more, and I'm not there mentally, if you will.
Well, and we see your face. Granted, I go through withdrawals when I don't have a day that I see your face, but we see your face and we see the pain in your face. And so I don't think anybody in here, all 360 people in this chat, would object to that. So
Right.
we just want to know that you are okay, and you being mentally okay and physically okay is going to be more important.
Right. No, I get it. That's why I brought it up yesterday. I wanted people to know that it was something that I was thinking about, right? Today was like the first day that like I felt mad, I guess you could say, as far as what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because I really and that might be the most difficult part about it, is reining in my own anger for what they're attempting to do, because I don't like victim shaming. I have a real problem whenever anybody tries to invalidate abuse in any way, and they're really right. He doesn't care, Riley. It was all money, and do I think that maybe their parents it was his parents that started the school. Do I think that maybe they had good intentions in the beginning? Possibly. But then they found out how much money they could make, right? And
Got money hungry.
and it became, I find that a lot in substance abuse treatment as well, that people sought for the right things, and then they just get greedy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, in this situation, that he was still a very abusive man, and his wife is still alive. I don't know why she isn't testifying. I would have liked to see her squirm in the stand.
Well, and as much as she profited off of it also,
yes,
why isn't she being charged also, is my opinion.
Because of the statute of limitations.
Yes.
The staff had to be involved, right?
Yes.
The way that the school was set up, I'll use when I was there, because they expanded after I left, right? Mm-hmm. When I was there was probably about 120 students. We were each broken up into like 20 to 30 in separate families, okay? Each family had like 6 staff members that were in that family, right?
Yeah.
There were 4 of them when I left. Those table topics were verbally abusive, highly sexual and derogatory in nature. There's no way that there's no way that you didn't know what was happening, because if there was a student restrained and put into isolation, it was the topic of discussion in staff meetings, right? That was videotaped. I still would love to know where those videotapes are. And there was no way that there was no way that if you were a staff at that school that you did not know what was going on. It was impossible.
I just listening to your playlist, there's no way. There's no way. And the way that the school was structured, right? Now, remember, a lot of us were sent there. Me personally, I'd been expelled from 2 different schools in 6 months, right? So my mother put me there just hoping to get me to finish high school, right? Mm-hmm. Every time I was put on a work sanction or put in the corner or I was in isolation, I didn't go to class. So if education was really the goal, why would you take that away? Right. Make you write an essay or something instead of sitting in the corner. That was a frequent thing too. But so if education was the goal, why would you take away the one thing that 99% of our parents put us there for? Right. That doesn't make sense. Because even if you're in the corner or on a work sanction, you should still be able to go to class because that's the goal. I also didn't know at the time that they were served with a cease and desist from like the Department of Alcohol and Substance Use Disorder people to stop operating as a treatment facility to treat those things. I didn't know that. That was prior to me getting there, right? Because they marketed themselves as that type of program, which they were not able to do. Oh, wow. All of these things that, I wasn't aware of a lot of it until like April. And it was so crazy the way that it worked out is because I said, it wasn't something that I necessarily talked about a lot on my platform often, because I do find that in a lot of places people have a hard time
understanding, maybe not so much anymore, but they don't necessarily understand the depths of the corruption, the abuse, right? That kind of stuff. People tend to dissociate from it. They don't tend to quite necessarily understand. You can empathize, but a lot of people don't fully grasp that situation, right? Last April, I said it was National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I was kind of hanging back from content. I wasn't really posting a lot. So I decided I would do a series. I started that series on April 1st, and he was arrested on April 3rd.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So it kind of like coincided, and I had no idea that was like, I knew about the investigation. I didn't know that it was coming then. So I was literally on a live talking about my experience at the school, and when I clicked out, another person on TikTok that is a survivor of the school, and there was his mugshot. I literally X'd out live, and there was his mugshot. And it was crazy the way that it worked out, that he got arrested at that point in time.
It was perfect timing.
Right. It was crazy the way it worked out. It kind of distracted the series a little bit, because I wanted to discuss more of the students. And if you watch the playlist, you'll hear me say, like, I want to tell their stories, because there are so many people that I was there with that are not here anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what was important to me, but it just got derailed. Oops, sorry. It just got derailed by him being arrested, and it went a different way.
Yeah, I got to the part where, several into it, and you were showing the school, the dorms. And that's when I started crying, and I called my daughter. And so I'll finish it, but yeah, it was one of those things where, as a mom, I could see the mom side of it. And so then every red flag that I was seeing in there, I was trying to look back to see if I seen any of those red flags with my daughter.
Right. My mom, I remember when I ran away from the school, and that was the first time that I told her, because I got to the city, there was a cop waiting there for me, and I had to wait for my mom to pick me up at Port Authority. And then she took me home for the night, and that night in the car is the first time I said, because you weren't able to, right? Every time you were on the phone with your family, there was a senior member also on that line. You couldn't say anything, or they would just hang up, right?
Yeah.
So at that point in time, that was the first time that I said, like, you don't understand what this place really does to us, right? And I tried to tell her, but at that point in time, the school had her so brainwashed that she drove me up the next day, right?
That was actually a communication between me and her. And I told her about you running away and you trying to tell your mom. And she's like, Mom, she's like, you were so connected with us. If I would have even given you any inclination, she said, you would have taken me back home, dropped me off, and she said you would have went up there and burned that place to the ground.
And I believe that had my mother known that, she would have done the same.
Yeah.
When the first Times article came out, my mom obviously read the article. I think I might have actually sent it to her, and that was the first time. So you figure I left in 97, right? The first Times article was written in September of 2017. I'll find it. Yep, September 2nd, 2018, right? And that was the first time, and my mom was beside herself.
Well, yeah, because you think you're doing right by your child, and then to hear all this in black and white and see it.
Right. And it was something that she could no longer. Thank you. It was something that, and it's not that she was in denial either. I don't think that she was in denial. I think that she just didn't believe it, because that's what the school did. Like, they purposely did that. Everything that did like, the first 30 days there, you write this dishonesty list, and they tell you to pretty much lie on it. So that when you go to your first family meeting with your parents are sitting there thinking you're way worse than you were.
Yeah.
So that automatically seals you being there.
Yeah.
So it is just, I call it a circle jerk of manipulation, because everybody was being manipulated. The students, the kids, the parents, some of the staff were really also just not any better. I'll read this article for you so that you have an idea.
Okay. I am going to drop down in the
You're
comments
good.
because I got to make more coffee.
You're good. I'm going to talk through this article anyway. So the problem, when this article was written, there was probably 2 students that had died in like a week span. One of them was a very public death. He was a teacher in the Bronx, and he unalived in the bathroom of the school that he taught at, right? So it says, when 4 former students from the same school died within months of one another in 2015, it seemed random. Yes, thank you. A morbid coincidence. Then the number kept growing. At least 7 more died the next year. Their fellow alumni, feeling more anxious with each death, started to keep count. That list that I posted today, there are 156 names on that list, okay? Their fellow alumni, feeling more anxious with each death, started to keep count. By the time a classmate in Ohio died of in October, the toll had reached at 87. This article is from 2018. It is 2025. There are 156 names now on that list. 3 weeks later, another fatal in New Jersey, 88. 3 more weeks saw another, a school teacher in the Bronx, found in the faculty restroom. 10 days later, number 90 in Minnesota. Damn, a friend of the victim wrote on Facebook, this is out of control. All of the dead were alumni of the Family Foundation School, a small boarding academy in rural Hancock, New York. Since its opening in the 1980s, the school was an option of last resort for parents who sought help for their teenagers troubled by substance use, I gotta feel my language out here, or behavioral issues. The students ate and bunked together, some dressed down and punished together. Some attempted to escape together, dashing through the woods to the nearest town and hiding in a McDonald's bathroom. I was one of those. And now, alone and back at their respective homes, they were dying, largely of unalivings. Their names joining classmates on the list again together. The school closed in 2014 after a drop in enrollment that followed a self-described truth campaign by alumni telling of abuses there. Solitary confinement, so-called blackouts of silence and isolation from others, the restraining of unruly subjects by wrapping them in rugs and duct tape. There were reports of physical abuse in complaints to state officials and the police. Imagine that. In 2015, a year after the school closed, at least 4 former students died. The next year, there were at least 7. In a recent Facebook post, a man remembered hanging out with 2 friends from the school in 2016 following the funeral of another, but those friends have since died. Former students sought to find someone to blame, their first target being the school, only to come to terms with a more likely truth that their dead classmates had been overcome by the sources of despair and addiction that took seed in their youth and brought them to the school in the first place. It is unclear how many students attended the Family Foundation School over its 30 years. This I posted earlier. In 1986, newspaper article about the school puts its student population at 34. The next decade, a 1998 yearbook, roughly the halfway point in the school's existence, refers to that year's graduating class of 30. It was open until 2014, as its largest ever. The school grew some in the years to come. Emmanuel Margeros, who is called Mike, the son of the school's founders and its former president, declined to comment on the school's history. I'm trying to move on, he said. Why didn't any of us think of that? He said he's had many conversations with angry former students. It's painful to go through over and over again. Weird. There is no clearinghouse for data regarding mortality rates among secondary schools. Robert Friedman, formerly with the Alliance for the Safe, Therapeutic, and Appropriate Use of Residential Treatment, yeah, right, infuriating, said he was more familiar with the Family Foundation School and the push by alumni to close it down. Why would we want to do that? He said the deaths of the graduates are not typically tracked. Nobody knows how these kids have done overall. In recent months, many of the school's former students have pivoted to a sort of social media unaliving watch, urging alumni on Facebook to look out for one another. The effort is led by Liz Ionelli, an alumni of the school and a former police instructor who has tallied the death count, now up to 101, all under 50, vast majority under 40. Ms. Ionelli, whose username is Survivor993 for the number of days she spent at the school, created a Facebook community called I See You Survivor and separately posted a video that she made in her office. What I want you to know is I see you. I see you. I know what you go through, and I've been there. Our best revenge is living a good life. She was a, I don't know where. She was a trauma therapist, Liz. So I don't know if she's still in that field, but that's what she did like for a living, okay? Parents who were struggling with troubled teenage children sent them to the Family Foundation School near Binghamton, where they were promised their sons and daughters would receive a quality education as well as counseling, tough love, discipline. A special education teacher, Lillian Becker, heard about a job opening at the school in 1998 and went for an interview. It was her first time on campus, where she saw a schoolhouse, trailers, and a red barn arranged on a hill that sloped gently down to a pond. It looked wonderful, Ms. Becker said in a recent interview. Very professional, very clean, very neat and orderly, and everybody was friendly. They had a student give me a tour. She just seemed happy to be there. You know that we were conditioned to do that, right? Do you know what would have happened if we would have told the truth on one of those tours? Ms. Becker got the job. On her first day, she saw something strange. She was asked to monitor a timeout room for 20 minutes until a staff member arrived to take over. A storage room, probably about 6 feet wide by 12 feet, she recalled. On the floor was this student wrapped in a blanket with duct tape to hold the blanket shut. Just the head was sticking out. She was told that the student was at risk of hurting others or themselves. She settled into her job as a de facto nurse, making outside medical and dental appointments for students and tending to their aches and pains. She saw other practices that, looking back, she wonders why she didn't openly question. The school was arranged into families with staff members designated as mom and dad and their children, the students eating meals together before retiring to bunk beds in trailers separate for boys and girls. A regular occurrence during meals were table topics when student would stand and accuse or bring up another classmate over some infraction. Ms. Becker and other former students said, Susie would get up and say, I want to bring up John. John has to stand up. Now it's basically time to break this kid down. I saw him flirting, something like that. What regularly followed was a tirade of mocking and scolding from other students and adults. The staff would chop this kid up. Sanctions vary, some involving food. A diet of tuna fish on a dry English muffin was a common punishment, or labor, physical labor was with students burying rocks in the dirt one day only to be ordered to dig them up the next day. Others were social in nature, called blackouts. If you were on house blackout, you were not allowed to talk to anyone outside of the family you were in. The most extreme blackout was called exile, leaving the student to sit in a corner alone at meals. You weren't allowed to talk to anyone or look anyone in the eye. So, I'll leave his name out. You were a ghost. Some students reacted physically. I flipped out and punched my counselor, said, I'm going to leave the name out, who entered the school in 2000. She was placed in a janitor's closet for that infraction. Rugs in there, rugs on the wall, nobody to talk to you. Somebody else attended the school from 1999 to 2002 and went on to serve prison years later for burglary. He said he would fight others at every opportunity, beginning on his first day when he lashed out at staff members who were trying to search him for contraband. I was thrown in an 8x8 isolation room. Lunch and dinner were both tuna. I'd spend days in there on end. Just so we know, when you are in isolation wrapped in that blanket, you do not get up to use the restroom for any reason. Former students could remember who watched them when they were bound and locked up. Other students effectively deputized by staff members to serve as jailers. Some of those accounts are corroborated by the reports who state officials who, after receiving complaints, conducted surprise inspections over the years. And you found nothing? In 2010, inspectors noted a previous culture of harsh treatment at the facility. Adding in a letter to the school, the Family Foundation School has been working to change this culture. Now, mind you, in 2010, all 3 of the victims that he is on trial for right now had already occurred. In a written response to the inspectors, Mr. Argyros, the president, denied that the school acknowledged its past is harsh and said it's always been open to outside agencies with new protocols for dealing with often incorrigible and oppositional adolescents who have failed to thrive before coming to our school. Now, I don't know about y'all, but do you think that wrapping a child in a blanket with duct tape is a solution? I don't give a shit what the child does. Is that the solution? I don't think so. You know, I don't think that that's right, because they've always thrown it back on us. Always it was thrown back on us. Ms. Becca, the de facto nurse, enrolled her own son at the school. That's how sick these people were, where they put their own children in the school. The grandchildren of the owners have apologized to us. Says that she is ashamed that that blood runs through her veins. He did well, learning good grades and going on to study photographer. He eventually dated the actress Christina Applegate and moved to California. In 2008, he died. Students ran away from the school. Blank fled one day in the winter of 2002, unprepared for the 8-mile journey to Hancock. I get to town and I'm frozen. I ended up sleeping in a doghouse. I woke up frozen stiff and I couldn't move. He walked to a police station. I tried to turn myself in. There's no cop there. Mr. Good, in 2009, was initially brought to the school by force. That happens a lot too, where kids were like kidnapped and brought there. He said men in a van grabbed him off the street at his parents' request. An occurrence known as gooning. One day he hurt his elbow and was sent home on a 24-hour pass. Knowing his parents planned to send him back, he ran away and hid at a friend's basement until he turned 18. He wrote his parents a note. I love you guys, but you don't understand. Other students, desperate, saw other ways to escape. I tried to unalive one night in my bunk, now 27 and living in Chicago. I thought it was the only way out. I took a belt and put it, woke up the next morning with the belt. It had broken. In 2004, a 17-year-old student died after jumping from an upper floor of the school. Ms. Becca, the former nurse, remembers treating students who she believed had attempted to take their own lives. It is on and on and on. The way that they have lied and continue to lie. This is who, these are the parents, right? Blank of Trumbull, Connecticut, sent his son Mark to the Family Foundation School in 2002 when he was 17. He described it as a last-ditch effort to treat his addiction. The Family Foundation School. He thought it was a great school. He was getting an education, not just going to rehab. Mark left the school when he turned 18 and moved to Manhattan, where he lived on the streets for more than a decade. He died of liver failure in 2017. Blank sent her son Charles to the school in 2012 in hopes of treating his depression and anxiety. He left the school in 2014 and killed himself a year later while suffering from withdrawal. When Charles died, there was one before him and one right after, a girl. Then he died, then a child died due to alcohol in a car accident. She believed the school actually prolonged his life. He would have been dead at 17. Ms. Rogers, who became a speaker and mental health advocate after losing her son, said the list of dead classmates should be placed in a larger perspective. We're high-risk kids. John Martin Crawford achieved notoriety among his peers when he testified about the school before a congressional hearing regarding treatment programs for teens in 2008. The nightmares and physical scars of being dragged from your home to a place in the middle of nowhere, restrained with blankets and duct tape, assaulted verbally and physically, those scars and that trauma never go away. Mr. Martin Crawford, then 28, testified, "For my friends who have since died from suicide of the nightmares, and for those who still suffer, the nightmares are our time and our voice will not be in vain." 7 years later, he hung himself. "It's like, who's next?" a former student, Sarah, said when asked by a reporter earlier this year. 13 students died in 2017, among them a nurse in Colorado, Suzanne Leffler, who took her life with hugs through an IV from her job. Ms. Leffler and another teen, Blank, met at the school in the 1990s and remained friends. She was always trying to make you laugh. She seemed like she had it all together. In August, the police went to Ms. Leffler's house and found her on her bed. She had put herself to sleep. Blank said she found herself contemplating her own death. "All I could think of is you could have called me and I would have been there. And at that time, after she died, I thought if she had said, 'Will you do it with me?' I would have." Today, a sports camp stands where this school once did. The buildings on the property under new ownership, roads once dirt, are paved now, but off-season at the camp, they're quiet. There is a pond where the girl dropped through the ice. There's the old barn. Blank, the former student who described the room with rugs on the walls, says she was repeatedly essayed in the barn by a teacher. She recently went to the police after almost 2 decades to press charges. The statute of limitation had passed, she was told. Nothing can be done. A white pickup drove past the property one evening in April. Behind the wheel was Randy Whiting, whose family has owned the property for many years and who used to work as maintenance, in the school. He was an outsider and an insider and an outsider at the same time. His front row seat, unrelated to education or the school's cause. News of recent deaths of alumni have found him. You know some of them and you hear it. He believes the school did a lot of good for a lot of teenagers. They're the ones you don't hear much about. They're just some kids you can't reach. Some of those, apparently beyond reach, make their appearances on Ms. Iannelli's Facebook page alongside victims of tragic accidents. In January, an alumnus crossing a busy road in Jersey was struck and killed in a head-on collision. He became number 94. In April, reports of more deaths arrived back-to-back. 27-year-old man killed in a scooter accident in Florida. 35-year-old graduate and medical equipment salesman learned that his stepfather had died overnight. When he left to go to his grieving home, his mother's grieving home, he dropped dead of a heart attack. In July, when some past deaths were added, the list reached and had passed 100. Last year, Miss Ionelli and others from the school planted a tree near the property in Hancock beside a Catholic church in Long Eddy. They placed a plaque before it and named it the Lost Souls Tree. Up close, markings can be read on rocks remembering the dead friends, but in the winter the tree is bare and slight, easily missed when passing by. Yeah, it's sad, but there's lots of it happens in clusters, like stuff like that, you know. So it's unfortunate, but when my mom read that, everything changed. Everything. As a matter of fact, one of the girls that has been documenting a lot, I actually shared her video yesterday. Her name is Anel. She did an interview with my mom and myself and my mom years back. So yeah, Cindy, it's a blessing and a curse, right? I was there for 18 months. I left the day after I turned 18. I left. So, right, I think that my mom was upset. Hi, Val Pal. Thanks, Lady Di. When I think that when you've denied something for so long, oh no, there's no way. It's not possible. Also, she said that she was helping with the investigation, but they're not on the witness list. Any idea why that would happen? I'd like to know the answer to that, you know, since, you know, she was helping with the investigation. Why wouldn't they be on the witness list? Weird, you know. It's weird. I didn't know about her channel until last year. I was doing an interview on a show, and they won't. Why would they? She claims that she doesn't know anything. He denies knowing anything, but he answered in my DMs, so it's weird that he publicly denies it. They did record everything. They did. That's what I want to know. Where are those videos? And where are the black binders where they used to keep, like, the progress notes? She better not, Shelly. She better not. That would be really bad for her. Because, I'll be damned if somebody that profited off of our abuse is gonna profit again. Nope. Hard pass. Hard pass. Right? I know that evidence. But I still want to know what they did with them, because like when students were being restrained, they filmed it. Where are those videos? I wish they'd ask them that under oath. You know, it'll be weird. No, it's not gonna happen. Because I will start screaming about receipts for her GoFundMe, for her lawsuit that she brought on herself, and I'm sure she doesn't want me to do that. What is the school name? The school was named the Family Foundation School, and after we started making noise, they changed it to Allenwood Academy. It didn't necessarily matter. No, because the investigations were years later. Right? You got to remember, the school's been closed since 2014. Lawsuits started coming in 2020. At a bigger, like more. Yeah, I'm going. I'll be there. I'm hoping to be there Monday. I was waiting for a student to get back to me about splitting an Airbnb. That way, 3 weeks is a long time, right? So I was trying to get like a group of us, but it's a lot. I don't like, it's easy for me to just say I could just take off of work and go for 3 weeks, but most adults can't do that. I could just do what I do remotely. Night nurse, there were multiple investigations. There was an investigation in 87. There was another one in 92, 98, 2010. There were many investigations. Somebody actually commented this on one of the videos. Hi, Mommy Amy. On one of the videos I posted, something about the toys about the politicians. They own Hancock. They own the town that the school was in. Only after Paul's arrest did they start seeing, holy cow, and side-eyeing them. For a really long time, we were just disgruntled students. You know, for a really long time. And there's been more locals reaching out to us and saying, you know, stuff I never knew, why I always knew something weird was going on, but it took him being arrested criminally for them to, somebody wrote this and posted this, and I love it. Hold on. Let me turn it up.
In the quiet town of Hancock, shadows lurk behind the facade of hope, where nightmares smirk. The family foundation school, a veil of deceit where horrors unfolded beneath innocent feet, hidden in plain sight. Darkness prevails as innocence shattered under surveils, as innocence shattered under sinister veils. In the halls of torment they preyed on the weak at the family foundation school, where monsters speak. A man of authority with a heart black as coal, preying on children, taking their soul. All Jews reign, a terror untold. In the guise of guidance, his evil control. Hidden in plain sight, the darkness prevails. As victims cried out, the justice prevailed. In the end, as the truth emerged, a beacon to send. So here's to the survivors who found their voice in the face of the...
Well, because Cindy is the CEO there, right? Well, it's a camp now. Rosie, you tried to call them? Did you see what the article that they posted in that when Paul got arrested? Talk about bias. Talk about bias. Are you going up there for the trial? I'm trying to wait for her to answer. No, yeah, they did, but it's not. You could tell that that they, yeah, Cindy was the wife of Cindy is Mike's wife. I heard that they are. It's now. It started yesterday. Former family school teacher accused of essaying students. That's their paper. Isn't that crazy? when you own the newspaper, Cindy worked at the school for years. Cindy was my U.S. history and government teacher. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I will be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's difficult for people to get away. 3 weeks is a long time. It's in New York. Well, in what state? What do you mean? The school? The school was in New York. It's not open anymore. So here's the crazy thing. Really? Send me a message. What was I just going to say? More students disclosed after he was arrested. Right? He still worked as a music teacher for children the day that he was arrested. That's crazy. Yep, crazy. Yes, more students disclosed. Do you think that they... To be honest, I think that the owner was... I think that the owner was just a crook. He made a lot of conversations awkward that didn't need to be awkward. As far as Paul, the man that was arrested, he was just disgusting. Like, there's not a single redeeming quality that I could think of for that man. And like, if you're sitting at a table with 30 children, would you be discussing your sexual habits, preferences? And I also think that when you are a predator and you don't have a preference as far as male or female, I think that they're more dangerous because they'll just assault anyone. And I'm not going to say alleged because I fucking know it happened. And I know that there's more victims. But I did speak to one of them that disclosed after he got arrested, and he did a recorded interview with the feds, but he's not coming in for trial. So strange. So strange. I really hope that I wish they all rot in jail, prison, whatever. Right? It's I don't think that they should have been walking free for 25 years. At all. Right, Cindy. And I know that that's a real thing, right? A lot of people that haven't done a lot of the work, trauma work, specific targeted work, that they're not... like, a lot of us are in different stages of healing. You also got to remember that the school was open from 84 to 2014, right? And they did try to change, like, when I was there, isolation meant being wrapped up in a blanket and duct tape in the boot closet, right? They did try to adjust their policies, but they were still abusive. They took it to a quiet room, like a padded room, if you will. Right? Being on shadow was a very frequent thing, right? Referring to the question that was just asked. Being on shadow and having people up, like, you couldn't be alone, shadow. Right? Somebody had to be up your ass at all times. You couldn't be alone. Right, exactly. See, the new school wasn't even open when I left. It was just about done when I left. But so they did try to change their policies and procedures, but it was still abusive. You didn't take that away. That theme stayed. So what was the point of changing anything if you were still gonna just be abusive anyway? Doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna try to, there is a page, Unsilenced. The family has a page on Unsilenced, and there is a, let me see if I could pull it up. The family does have a, I'm about to end anyway, the Family Foundation School. I think it's unsilenced.org, which does, it's about this type of child abuse. I do believe that there is a school, hold on y'all, I'm trying to find it. I do believe that there's a lot of content on here about the family school. I don't know if it's labeled. I don't know if it is labeled Allenwood Academy or there are still 120,000 students in residential centers. Wild. They have a lot of information about programs so that parents can research, right? And so that they can see what they're looking at. Thank you. I'm trying to see. Unsilenced Truth List, maybe? These are the students that have died in residential centers. That was the first one I did. That's in programs, not outside. That's what needs to change. There is no regulation in these programs. Yeah, I'm about to end though. I'm trying to find, I know they have it, I just don't know where it is, where you can do research. Closed programs, got it. Hold on. Here we go. Let me see if I could search. Yep. There's a ton of information. Yeah, very similar. Hi, Krista. How are you? Oh, wow. It doesn't come up. What the fuck? Let me try Allenwood Academy. Hold on. Wow. Hold on. I gotta try the other name. Because they did try to get away from, they did try to get away from the negative press that because we were screaming from the rooftops about the school. The name of the school is the Family Foundation School, right? It's been closed since 2014. Yeah, there's a lot out there, y'all. It's not, one of my classmates, Miranda, started a podcast called Troubled. I don't think that she still does it, but she did. And there's a lot. No, that's the name of that LLC, Education Corp Plus. Wild. I'm trying to, maybe if I narrow it down maybe if I do it by state. Hold on. But it's crazy that it's even allowed. It shouldn't, just shouldn't be allowed at all. I think that since there's no, if they're gonna not regulate it on a federal level, because if it's done states, it's not gonna be as effective, but they shouldn't be able to do what they do. And it's all for profit. Let that sink in. And that's what's crazy too, is that they get state funding. They receive grants and federal funding while abusing children. Isn't, like, what? So they were accredited. That's Papa. Quit it. They did have a Papa. What are you barking for, homie? They were accredited as a private. Exactly. Isn't that crazy, Misty? I never even thought about, I'm about to end. I never even thought about that. It never even occurred to me that was possible. So they bill the insurance as well, because a lot of kids that had like ADHD or ADD, who they stripped of medications. It's insane. It is insane what is allowed, and the loopholes that because of the type of accreditation that they had, the loopholes that they could weave in and out of. Exactly. And that is why they own half of the town. You know what I mean? Gigi, I reported them to the IRS last year when I went through what was publicly available about their taxes, because there's some, not accurate things there, if you will. I got it. I'll check it when I end. Do better. If you're gonna commit tax evasion and all kinds of fraud, at least don't abuse the students so that they could blow the whistle. Bare minimum. I know. Must be hard, right? Wild. All right, y'all. I hope everybody has a good... Oh, yeah, there's a ton. If you look into it, there's a lot. No, really? You feel like you did, or you did? I hope you're all right. That's a bitch. That's a tough one. Ugh. I'm sorry. Yes, I hope everybody has a good night. I'll keep y'all updated about 7. Victoria. Girl. I don't know how you don't see that you are the problem, and you will continue to have these problems. I hope that you're all right. You'll continue to have these problems until you face the issues that you have within yourself. Everybody that got, manipulated by Victoria, I'm sorry, that's shitty. Maybe try to pay attention when people are trying to give you some warnings about shitty people. Everybody else, I hope you have a good night. Gabby. Girl. I'm just gonna say, as somebody like looking from the outside in, weird how you're perfectly normal after sitting in the pharmacy parking lot for 3 hours. Okay? Soon.